Okay, good. All right. Well, as I like to do when I start these videos, I like to say, welcome, friends. Uh, Today we're doing something a little bit differently than we've done yet this semester, and that is we're going to have library instruction. You're going to need to do your own research for the last two papers of the semester, and to kind of orient you to what kind of services and source material we have available here at Somerset Community College. One of our librarians, Miss Julie Howe, is going to talk about libraries. So, Julie?
All right, that's me. We're gonna take a look at several different things today. Why did I not close out Facebook? How embarrassing. So, I was taking a quick break before that, but I have found a lot of good resources that I'm excited to share with you. So let's take a look at some of those. Of course, we're doing research. This is English 102. So you have a little bit of an understanding about doing research. I'm going to go over a few things here, but I'm going to spend a lot of time researching and I'm not going to click on this link. To get your bearings, it's okay to look at Google and Wikipedia, and if you decide to go back and take a look at this website later, it's going to show you how much they change and how frequently. Also, things are manipulated in Google to come back a particular way, or some people may try to manipulate things that they appear higher in the search results, and that's why we say avoid using that for research purposes. There are also sponsored results, which are ads. We use the databases just to cut through the noise of it all so that we can get to the real research that is unbiased and reliable. So, how do we start this working on this assignment? You have an article, so that's good. You start with reading the article, and then you kind of start thinking to yourself, okay, if we were to have a 32-hour work week, what would change? Can you think of what areas that would affect? And then you're going to go into your research. The last two are probably going to be on your own after you do your research to figure out what you might be missing and to get any other information to address those missing aspects. So, I wrote a lot of keywords for you. Any of the words that are in quote marks should be included as such when you type them into the box. So, for example, quote mark, work-life balance, quote mark. That means that you will find the words work-life balance together as a phrase in your articles instead of like work in one paragraph, life in another, balance in yet another, unrelated. So that's what we want. So all of these should be included in quote marks. And I'll show you how I found them as well. It takes a little time, but it's not really difficult to do that. And that is through the subject headings in our databases. And if you don't know what that means, I'm going to show you in just a minute. Also, turns out the mind map and Credo reference was really helpful for this one because Credo reference is dictionaries and encyclopedias. And while you can't use those to cite in your paper, you can use them to help get an understanding about certain concepts, people who are active in this study. So let's take a look. Before we get started, I want to give you a few names of good databases to search in. You can search the whole thing. I'll show you that in just a minute, but I think it's easier and less confusing if you take a look at a few good databases so you get fewer, more precise results. And these are the ones that I recommend: Academic Search Complete, ProQuest, and Business Source Premier. Now, I threw a business one in here because this is directly related to the world of business. And also, I got a lot of good results back. So that's why I included that. So Before we get to that part, let's get over here. We are going to the Learning Commons page. I'm going to show you from the beginning in case you've forgotten how to get there. So if you go to Quick Links and then Current Students, you'll see this page. This will probably look like something you've seen before. You've been here before. There's your My Path. And if you scroll down a bit more, Learning Commons is right here. So feel free to rewind that if you need to look at it again to find the right order. Now, if you search here, you'll notice, yes, I do a lot of nursing searches because I work with the health science students a lot. The Learning Commons page has these nice little rainbow books. That's how you know you're in the right spot. Now, this box will search in everything we own. So you're going to get a lot of results back. So if I type in, and I'm already forgetting my own rules for some reason. I'm going to show you what we get back. So we get 28,000 results back. That's quite a lot. You're also going to notice that you get some books back as well. Now, I think those would be good to look at, but your requirements are articles. So that would be something like this. Now, I actually did find some pretty good results by searching in everything like I just did. What I would do probably is I would sort them using this little sort by option and sort them by date newest so that you could look from newest to oldest and find some more information. You're going to find a lot of information about COVID because that was a big turning point for a lot of people in learning about work and life balance. So all of these are available. You can see they all say the ones that say available online, you can access. So you just click on that. It'll open up yet another window. If this is an article that you think you would like to keep around, you can do one of two things. The first thing is the one that I recommend the most, which is email it to yourself. If you email it to yourself, it's almost guaranteed to be in your inbox and easy to find. There's also the permalink option, so you can copy this and put this in, say, like a Word document, and that would be a good way to do it as well. I just kind of like emailing it personally, and it seems to work really well. So if we scroll down, here's where you actually find the article. Now you'll see it's in several different databases. It really doesn't matter which one you choose, but we'll choose one in a minute. I do want to scroll down a little bit more. All of these are called subject headings. This is how librarians organize articles on the internet, in the databases. So what you may find is something that you typed in is not quite what you want. But if you look at the subject headings, you may find something that relates a little bit more or more closely, and then you can pull that and search with that. However, that seemed to be a pretty good one for this article. We were getting some good results, so that's great. Now, let's take a look at one of the articles. Now, when we click this is going to take us through the proxy link. And that means that will give you the access that we pay for. We pay a lot of money so you can have this access to the databases so you can get reliable information. So in between when I click there and when this opens, oh no, yeah, that will happen. So then you can try another one because it is available in several different databases. So hopefully, wow, dude. That one must have gotten, there we go. So sometimes it may show in another database and not be available, but as you can see, this one is available in one of the last ones, and that's okay. If for some reason you cannot access something, please let me know My email is julie.howe, Howe, at kctcs.edu, and I'll take a look at it because it could be a problem that we need to address, or it could be that you just can't find this article. So researching gets really complicated when you're looking at a lot of things. And for this paper, Mr. Spencer wants you to look at a lot of different articles to get a good background and a good working knowledge of the issues here. So that means you're probably thinking that means I'm gonna have to read tons and tons and tons of work. Yes, but also kind of no. So for example, let's take a look at this article. I'm going to show you how to do it without stressing yourself out. So one, we can do kind of a quick browse to see if this fits what we want. So title says public affairs faculty. So already I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe that's too specific. And then we can take a look at the abstract. This gets into some of the gendered organizations, which again, that may be a little too specific, depending on the point that you're trying to make. But looks like there could still be some good information there. So based on its title, based on the abstract, I would probably email this one to myself to look into later. So that's kind of how we decide and eliminate some things. The actual article is available over here, full text, and I recommend the PDF option because when you're doing your citations, the PDF provides you with the exact page number. You'll see that right here. And it just makes things a lot easier because it appears exactly as it's published in the journal. So this is the article itself. Um, and you really don't have to read the full article either. I like reading the introduction. Um, some of this you may want to look at. When it gets into methodology, you may want to kind of skip past that a little bit, and unless that's something that you feel confident in understanding. Surveys are pretty easy to understand. Um, so I usually skim that, and then I go to results or conclusions. Take a look at those and see if this information fits what you need. And right now, let's see. Impacts of the pandemic on male and female faculty work-life balance. So I think this is a little too narrow based on what I'm seeing, but I would still maybe keep it in my email in case I decided to access it later. So that's how you do that in just a couple of minutes and kind of get a little bit of an understanding. A couple of things I was going to point out also that are very helpful. Up at the top, they have the options to print, to use the permalink. Um, this is the option to email. You have to click the little three dots in this one. Also, make sure you take a look, and with a big caveat, take a look at the citation. Now, in ProQuest, we found out that this actually gives the website that Mr. Spencer wants, as opposed to just the DOI. DOI just means the number that's the identifier. But this website in this citation, see where it says libproxy? That means it's going to go through the proxy. So if if Mr. Spencer sees that, I just promoted you. Did you notice that? So Mr. Spencer wants you to, if he wants to take a look at it, all he has to do is either copy and paste it or click the link. And it's easy for him to see what you're referring to. So that was one specific thing that you wanted. And I think you're going to talk about some of the other things as well. So what I'm saying is you can use this as a sort of guideline or a starter, but you're probably going to have to make adjustments to it based on preferences of your instructor. And that is actually from the ProQuest database that I mentioned. So I showed you how to look in everything we've got. Now let's actually take a look at those particular databases really quickly. If you scroll down, just like the next row, need to find library sources. You should see the keyword databases, and there you go. If you keep scrolling, there are a few things here I want to point out. If you need help with researching or chat, you can contact us that way. You can also make an appointment with me to help you do some research. Happy to do that. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't want to bother you." No, I really like doing it. I had fun researching this earlier today, and I found a lot of new stuff that I didn't know. So I don't mind to do it. That's my job. We also have our Research 101 Learning Guide right here. I know you're in English 102, but if you can't get in contact with someone or you're working weird hours and you need like a little refresher, hopefully that will provide you with what you need. So you have avenues for help, so don't struggle. If you find an article that you can't access, just let me know. So, databases. Click the plus sign beside search one of our databases. I really don't like the plus sign here because it hides everything we've got, and we have so much. If you're having issues with the databases, they're not working properly, this does gives you a few options for how to potentially solve that. And if none of that works, contact me. We'll see what we can do. Typically, they've worked pretty well this semester. I haven't heard from much of anybody that's had any issues. Everything that we're going to use today, except for the one business one, is going to be under general research. So we're going to use general research and business source Premier. Academic Search Complete is right here. This one and the ProQuest are the two that I recommend for this assignment. And remember, don't stop with just one search. I gave you a whole bunch of search terms. Use those, try different things, and read a lot of different stuff. That will help you tremendously. And you'll see one of the nice things that I like about these databases and this kind of little more broad topic is that this will give you suggested search terms as well, just like it will on Google. But here it's better because you're not getting those biased results. So I'm going to stick with work-life balance for now. And before I hit search, I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. The number one thing that students get wrong, and it's easy to fix, is they will forget to click full text. What happens if you don't click full text is you'll get little pieces of articles called abstracts. They're just summaries. Now, we were reading those earlier and they are helpful, but if it's just the abstract without the full article, you can't cite that. So, just to save yourself some trouble, click full text, and that will only get you full text articles with the citation. So, I'll show you what that looks like now. So, here we go. We got 3,000 results, which is still quite a lot. But wow, that picture popped up really large. We can do a few different things that will be helpful. One, there's a relevance option up here. We can sort it by either date newest to get the newest articles at the top, or the date oldest to the oldest at the top. Now, one of the reasons why you may want to look at some of the older ones is to give yourself a historical idea of what has been tried before, because you're going to see that a lot of different kinds of work um, structures have been attempted with varying results. So there may be something interesting there or relevant to the article. I try not to say interesting because I know it's not always interesting to write about assigned topics, but this is one that will affect you eventually if it's not doesn't already. So these are the ones that are the most current. I'm just going to look down and see if I find something. You're also going to come across a lot of health um, related work-life balance articles because nurses work such long shifts and more hours. So this one already looks pretty good. This is importance of work-life balance. This is an ophthalmology times. So it's going to be for ophthalmologists. Now I'm changing my mind because it's just going to be about ophthalmologists. Um, this one looks pretty promising though. Work-life balance after COVID, International Journal of Contemporary Management. So that's probably a business title. Let's take a look and see what's going on and see if we can kind of eliminate it or use it either way. Now, what you'll see here, title, authors, source, which is the journal typically. These are the subject terms that I was talking about as well, because this particular topic used so many different words to talk about it. I think it's helpful to look at these. Organization management potentially could be helpful. Working parents, if you want to talk about that particular aspect of it, potentially as well. Now, in this database, the articles live over here on the left as well. I always choose that PDF full text because that shows you the full article as it would be published. This is going to give you a little bit of information. This is from Poland, which information for this topic, information from other countries can potentially be helpful because what if something works well in a European country? Would there be any difference in attempting it here? Something to think about. So take a look at this. I'm going to look at the introduction. Hmm. Boundaries of separation between spheres have been blurring, causing increased tensions. Okay. I like the point they're making there. Some employees experience a decline in job satisfaction and lower quality of private life. That was another thing that was mentioned. So let's see what the WLBO's work-life balance in this particular article. Thanks to the analysis of the results of this national research, and again, Poland, it will be possible to present recommendations that organizations can implement in the application. Okay, so they're giving potential solutions to this issue, and this is in Poland. So that's good basis to understand. Seems like it would be a good article to take a look at, even if it is from a different country. Sometimes that doesn't matter. You can still apply those things. We could still get a slight, some ideas from that that would be helpful in implementing it, or successes, challenges they've come up against. And there are some nice charts here that are pretty easy to read. So I was just going to look for the conclusion to show you. Ooh, they really did a lot of research. It's 34 pages. There we go, conclusions. Okay, so um, work-life balance tends to counteract the negative effects of work on private life. Well, okay, yeah, makes sense. Paying attention to the individual and private needs of various groups of employees. Okay. Doing research. Well, makes sense. Okay, so I think it could potentially offer some more discussion here, and this would be a worthwhile one to share. The tools that you use to save it are over here on the right this time in this little bar. Email's right here, the little envelope. You're pretty much always going to see an envelope for that. If you want to save the permalink in this database, it's a little chain right here. Don't save this link up here at the top in the bar because that is a temporary link, whereas this is the permanent link. So if you use this link, you'll always be able to access it. And again, the citations are right here. But as I mentioned before, they may not be doing them as your instructor wants them. So this one has a DOI. We don't want that. We want the permalink, which is down here. And you will get further instruction on that, I'm sure, when Mr. Spencer talks about it. So we can go back to the result list now. As you can see, there's a lot more available here. This is one of the databases that covers a lot of different stuff in a lot of different areas. So I like to start here. Yeah, maybe even something like this would be helpful. This is from a law journal, but why not? If it works for one group, it potentially could work for another group. That doesn't limit it out. So I want to scroll down and show you, oh yeah, Credo reference. This is one that I mentioned earlier that had the mind map, which is really helpful. Sometimes it is to figure out what the, it's my search from yesterday, save even though I searched another one, what the connection between things is. And sometimes, let's see, yeah, it will also give you related terms to look at as well. If you're not sure where to begin, just try to start typing, then we'll give you something. Now, in this, it's all hyphenated. Now, earlier, oh yeah, I did search 35-hour work week earlier. Yes, and I did get some information on that. Some of these are people who are influential in the labor movement, labor rights, etc. Um, or just gonna try. And you do have to try a few different things to see what works. Yeah, and this is why I remember now because it has various search terms and they all go to work week and weekend, which that's fine. That works for us. We can start there and move on. So this gives us working time, which actually might be more appropriate. And then you can click on what are the most appropriate articles here to get an idea. Now, when I say articles, these are in the dictionaries and encyclopedias. So this is just for you to read up on, learn the language, etc. But it is a helpful resource, I think. Remote work, flex time, all of these are things that you'll want to know. So I'm going to close that for now, and then we're going to go into the business database quickly. Business Source Premier. This is also through EBSCO, which is the same one as Academic Search Complete. So it is going to look exactly the same. The only difference is the content that's in it. This is focused on business journals. And I actually found some really helpful stuff here. So you'll see more information in the drop down. I'm not going to click on anything just yet because I want to go ahead and click on full text. Remember, that's very, very important. So we get about 4,000 articles. That's still quite a bit, but I like the ones that came up. This particular one I thought looked really interesting, but remember, this is also for gender inequalities that may be slightly too specific. Something like this would be great from the Harvard Business Review. Should be fairly easy to read too, so let's take a look at it. Now remember, all your tools are over on the right side here, and then you have your article over here. But make sure you take a look at these subject terms. I found that the subject terms in this database were far better and gave more options that fit the topic and related to the article that you're going to read. So that's why I chose this one. And you'll notice this is a nice 10 pages, so that's not too bad. You can browse that pretty easily. I'm going to look at the PDF. So you can see like this has got images, there's the date, page number, and it looks exactly as it would in the publication. So this looks pretty nice. This is something that is very readable. Harvard Business Review is yes, a business publication, but it is not written in a way that you have to be an expert to understand. So almost anybody can take a look at it. I really like this.
Well, let me just chime in here for a
Yeah,
second. Like
sure.
a lot of this stuff that you'll see, it can be bifurcated, right? So you can see it on the one hand where it's like, oh, these are all the things that would be nice for employees to have more time with their families or more flexibility in their work schedule or whatever. But what you're seeing here, I think, is like these kind of arguments that you'll see people making is why would this be beneficial for companies? And it has to do with things like productivity, worker retention, worker satisfaction, a lot of those kinds of things, which I'm not going to talk about here. But, in terms of evaluating Applebaum's argument, you're going to want to have to consider whether he's making adequate appeals to sort of both sides of that divide, if you will. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No worries. That is a good point because I am hoping in this database, since this is a business database and it is not written for employees so much, that you will find some of the benefits for managers, for companies. For example, this says companies' attitudes have changed little since the 1950s. That's really small font, I know. Um, but you can always download it and make it much bigger. So, how does this benefit or hurt businesses as well as a part of it? So that's why we're taking a look at these things while we're looking in different databases, again, different perspectives, because you'll need to know those things. Oh, yeah, this is a pretty cool article. This has a lot of information that would be helpful, so definitely recommend this without even looking at the rest of it. Here are some examples already about how that would benefit companies' performance. Performance is important to companies, not so much to employees. Diversity, also something that many companies are always talking about. Diversity, diversity, we're diverse. So that's going to benefit companies more than, well, it will benefit everybody really, but that's one thing that uh, companies really like to talk about. Um, Pointing out some more issues. Yeah, this is a great article. Very happy with that. So what if I may, if I really like an article, let's see, it was this one. I will go in, take a look at probably these two. Since I used this one already, I may try this one and try searching with that to see what else is available and if it kind of relates to this topic. So all of your tools are over here just like before. So then you're just going to have to do some reading. But you can do that in a way that is manageable. I'm going to skip this for now. So what I was talking about previously, these are the databases that I recommend that we looked at today. We didn't look at ProQuest, but it's very similar. Few important tips. One, remember to select that full text button. That will help you so much. It will limit the amounts of things you get to full articles only. Email your articles to yourself. Big help because they will be sitting right there. Then you can read them whenever you have time. You can take a look at those citations. You can use them as a starter, but you probably will have to make changes to them. That's the one part of your assignment where you can get 100% of your points. So put the effort in on that. It'll help boost your grade a little bit. There were also a couple of sections in some of the databases. More articles like this are suggested reading for you. Sometimes you can stumble on some really good stuff that way too. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I talked about this as I was going through, but just as a reminder, how to get an overview of a topic without getting overwhelmed. There's a lot to look at. So, number one, click that full text. Two, look at your abstracts. Look at the subject headings and then start emailing articles to yourself. And Mr. Spencer, I think you mentioned like trying to break it down and doing this step for like 15, 20 minutes, email X number of articles to yourself, and then I'll show you step two. So you can do that for a little while. Then moving into a second step, then you actually look at the articles themselves, browse the article headings, look at the introduction, the discussion, the conclusion. And some of the things I was asking, is this too in-depth for an average person to read? Because for this class, you're just a 102 level class, so you don't have to go like fully into the deep end. Would you have to be an expert to understand it? If so, you may want to try to find something else. So you can break that process up into the two steps. One where you're doing the active searching, and then one where you're actually reviewing your information. Just to make a quick reminder, you can always make a research appointment with me. You can always review this video again, which is one of the benefits of doing a video. Absolutely. The Research 101 guide should be a helpful resource for you. And we also have tutoring available if you would like for someone to look over your paper, give you tips, tricks for making it stronger, or to help you with those citations. That's what they're here for. Did I miss anything, Mr. Spencer?
That sounds good. I'll have more to say in other videos.
Yeah. I know this is a lot, but thank goodness it's recorded. Students can go back over it and watch whatever pieces you need again, or you can contact me. And that's all that I have. Would you like me to stop recording now? You're muted.
I was kind of laughing when you were talking about, doing the reading on the, you have stopped the recording.
Hold on.